For all you Groundhoppers out there, this podcast is for you.
Hey guys, this is the FANA Fan Podcast. I'm Ben.
And I'm Topliss, and for all you Groundhoppers out there, this podcast is for you. Oh, we're back. It's been a long time, but season 4 continues. And tonight, we are delighted to be rejoined by Mr. Ryan Hindley. And we're also delighted to be joined for the first time by John. How are you doing, lads?
Brilliant, thank you.
Wonderful.
Thank you for coming, John, and thank you, Ryan, for coming back.
Pleasure.
So last time we spoke to you, promotion was in your sight, and promotion you achieved. How do you feel knowing you took Retford United back to step 6?
Yeah, brilliant. Objective achieved. But as I always say, it's not me, it's the players. It's them that do it all. They make it easy for me to pick a team, and they did all season. We very rarely had to chop and change. And yeah, we fulfilled the objective, pal, and we did it in style, winning the league by 17 points, I believe, in the end, and losing one game all season. So I'm proud as punch for the board, the fans mainly, but definitely the players. They deserve every plaudit that they got. Although people will say you should win it, there's a difference when you're everybody's cup final, and we went and did it, and we did it in style. So yeah, delighted for the players and everybody connected with the club.
Like you just said, you lost one game all season. Would you have loved to have gone unbeaten all season if you could have?
I think so, absolutely, because that means you don't lose any games. But sometimes in defeat, it's a little bit of a reset button. And sometimes that works. And then we went on, and I think we had a scrappy game against Dinnington as we'd won the league the week before, where we didn't really perform. So yeah, listen, if somebody says you're going to lose one game in 28, I'm fairly certain you're going to get promotion, whether it's this level, Premier League or North East Counties Premier. If you lose one in 28, you've got a real chance of winning it. So listen, we would have loved to do it, but unfortunately we didn't perform on the night, and we got punished.
And step 6, the Northern Counties Division 1.
Yeah.
Excited?
How exciting. Not really. But not really. I mean, listen, of course I'm excited. The club's excited. It's the sleeping giants awoke, but this club should never be in this position anyway. But we have to, as one of my famous sayings is, we have to piss with the cock that we've got, and we've got to go and try and get promotion again this season. It's not the objective. The board want progress on and off the field, and more people coming through the gates. So that's the objective this season. But being as I am, and obviously bringing John to the club, and Lee as well as my assistants and everybody connected with the club, you know, we're cautiously optimistic. But we'd like to get promotion. But I think this season is about looking at the league and seeing who's about and what people have got, and having a good look at it. But yeah, we'll be certainly trying to win every game. That's always been my philosophy. So yeah, we'll certainly be trying to win as many games as we can, and where we fall, we fall. But yeah, we'll certainly be doing his best. I'm sitting on the fence a little bit there, but yeah, I'm cautiously optimistic.
With getting promoted, you've obviously lost it. El Basset Lodge, you called it, against the Worksop SJR. But what comes with promotion is the Retford Derby, the first one in a few years. Are you looking forward to this?
Oh, absolutely. I think the whole town will be looking forward to it. I think what Chris and the boys have achieved over the bridge, as we call it, has been nothing short of magnificent. They're a fantastic club. They do things the right way, and they try and promote from within, given the financial constraints of what they do. But they've got a great setup, a great pitch, and they're doing things the right way. So yeah, hopefully we'll have plenty of people through the gate for that. I think there was over 1,000 last time, so I think it's even got that bit more tastier this year, with the lots of interest in Retford United again, and Retford, and I think it's going to be a bumper crowd, and hopefully, because this is what football's about at the minute. Unfortunately, well, not unfortunately, because this is how non-league clubs are run, but a great payday for both teams. Home for Retford and home for us. So yeah, there'll be plenty at that game. So I think it's one that we'll all be looking as soon as the fixtures come out to see when it is, and get some get some press around it and hopefully fill both grounds. It'd be wonderful for both clubs, like I said, financially, and may the best team win.
Definitely. John, we'll touch on a bit you then. So how did you, what's your background in football and what made you want to join Retford United on the managerial side?
I'm not going to bore people to death. Just started, I think it's, God, do you know when it were black and white and balls had laces in them? That's when I started. So, I had about 5 or 6 years at Eastwood and always on contract. Selfishly, that's what I wanted. And then obviously I trialled at Mansfield. I had a couple of games there. Wasn't good enough. But Keith Alexander, who was the assistant manager at the time at Mansfield, he took over at Ilkeston, and obviously they had a full-time model, and I must have impressed him or done something right, because he bought me for a bit of money. We had 4 or 5 great years there under Keith. Keith went on to Northwich. I had a discussion whether I wanted to go there, and Keith knew what kind of money I was on, and I was the captain for a long time, and there was a lot of players at Ilkeston at that stage who were getting paid handsomely and very well rewarded. And I used to go in when it was my contract up, and I'd think, right, I'm going to ask for this, I'm going to ask for that. And then I'd come out and I'd be thinking, I'm fortunate to be here, because Keith had just said, Naps, come on. And then obviously Keith left. We had a couple of managers, had a bit of a problem with John McGinley. I'm not going to lie. He didn't fancy us, and that's his choice. And said, look for another club. And I said, yeah, fine. But then he turned the tables. I started playing again after an hernia operation, which the good man's having his done, I think, on Thursday, aren't you, Rye?
Yeah, I'm winning at Knife, yeah.
Yeah,
Hopefully I wake up.
Yeah. And I got back in the team, but again, in the summer, he said, look, you can go, but you're going to have to come on tour to Blackpool. I went, no. And luckily for me, Alfreton came in for me, and that's my first kind of, with meeting Ryan, which I just said about 21 years ago, 2002, and had 3-4 great 3 years there, and then my legs were going at 36. I knew they were. I couldn't get around the pitch, and that was half of my game, and that was me done, really. And then I did a little bit of work with a good mate of mine and a good man who me and Ryan have got a lot of respect for, Mr. David Lloyd. He took the Hucknall Town job, and that was really my first involvement in management, and I learned a hell of a lot because I was wet behind the tabs. They were bottom of the league. After 8 games, we took over, and at Christmas we were about 12th, and David wanted to sign Ross Anna, who Ryan knows very well. He was scoring goals for fun at Matlock, and also the Space Cadet Chris Bettany, who again Ryan knows very well. And 2 days later, the chairman, we went into training, and we've got you a striker, Gary Ricketts. And listen, Gary's a great lad, but David said to me, and in Ryan's words, and we can say it, we're fucked. And it went downhill from there. And obviously did a little bit more at Retford when the times were good and the times were bad, which Ryan will know about. Where financially they were doing really well. They had the chairman, what was his name, right? With the Ferrari. Yeah.
Oh, that was Dean Vivian, and then Dean left, and then Paul Dixon came in.
And obviously the managers there and the players, they were bringing players in. They were doing really well. Got up to the Unibond Premier. Is that right? Right.
Yeah, we did. Yeah.
And then it all went a bit pear-shaped.
South.
And
Very south.
They asked if I could look at bringing young kids in, and obviously David come in, and fair play to Ryan, and I'll always look back at this, and that's not because he's here. Ryan was getting peanuts, weren't you, pal? And other players were getting less than that, so I don't know what's less than peanuts, and we were just surviving. We didn't get paid. But listen, at the end of the day, it was an experience, and you get to know things. And obviously I did 7 full years at Chesterfield. I had a break, and then I'm working as much as I can now. But I met Ryan about a month ago. We had a really good chat, and I needed to know what his thoughts were and how the club's run. And after the meeting, I had a little bit glint in my eye, and I thought, you know what, I want to give it a go. And at the end of the day, as long as our friendship doesn't get spoiled, because that's my main concern. And listen, I'm a people person. I've lived through everything, and Ryan has. And first and foremost, a friend will never get to the stage where football will come in the way, because I've said to him, if it ever does, I've gone. But it's a great setup what they've got, and they want to do things properly, and it's a big thing. And obviously, the people around the club at the hierarchy, they want to do it right, and it's just about now. We'll keep ourselves to ourselves, like I say to Ryan. We'll go about as business quietly, but we'll be the best we can be. And come next year, we'll see where we are. So, yeah, looking forward to it, to be honest. Looking forward to going to training tomorrow, the first pre-season game. Even though I'm 145 years old, I still miss the smell of the grass and being fit and things. And you think, but this is the next best thing. And there's good players and good characters in that place. And take my hat off to Ryan, Lee, and the people at the club. There's good people there. There's good players. They do things right.
Yeah, looking forward to going to the beautiful places in South Yorkshire, like Parkgate, West Yorkshire, and Wakefield, and then you got Worsborough Bridge, and then the best one of all, Shirebrook.
Yeah, Shirebrook. That'll be an interesting game. I think there'll be a few at that one now, but good on them. Good on them if they've got somebody who's ambitious as a chairman, and they're signing very, very good players, and they'll definitely be the team to beat this year. But our captain Retford, I don't care about anybody else and who anybody else is signing. We can only look after and direct what we're in charge of, and I'm extremely happy with the group that we've got. The 23 lads that we've got at the minute are all champing at the bit, and they're all doing what they need to do to stake a claim. So yeah, I think myself and John, like I said, we're delighted with the group that we've got. We've got some real diamonds in there this year. So yeah.
So as John said before we started, you've just announced another signing. So yesterday you announced Alistair, and then today you've gone for Luke Morris. What do you think these two can add to the squad you've already got?
Yeah, Ali is, well, he's sort of a rare breed in terms of his physical shape. The man, as I said yesterday, has probably got less body fat than Bruce Lee and legs like Bastian Schweinsteiger. The kid is just made out of granite, and he's a strong boy. He gets about the pitch. He's got an eye for goal. He's everything that you need in this level and the level above. And Maltby did okay last year with Lee and Dorsey, but obviously they've chose to move on, and we've profited from that. And I think Ali got 9 goals in 27 games from midfield. So we're delighted to have him. And he's 24 years old. He's the right age and he's the right fit. And I said this, and I keep bleating on about it, is that my players are there because they want to play football and they want to achieve things and they want to do well. And I think in some clubs, money takes over. And then when money takes over, players take over dressing rooms and managers lose all credibility. And what we've done this season and what we've got is we bring in the right caliber of person. That's the biggest thing. That dressing room is something very special. And, I've had more clubs than Tiger Woods, and I know dressing rooms and I know people who are there for the right reasons and the wrong reasons. And all my players, not one player apart from one who had to work, and he was working down in Southampton, have all been at every single session. And that's testament to the club, I think, to me and to John. So, Ali's coming in and he's something a little bit different to what we've got. So we're delighted to bring him in. And Luke is a young lad learning his craft, had a very good season at Parkgate and got a little niggle, and then came in at Maltby and was ever present at 19-year-old. He's right back. He's 6 foot, 6'1". He's he's got a great physique. He's great. He's quick. He can play right back, right side, centre half, and also holding midfielder as well. 19-year-old with what I call, I won't say the world, but I call non-league world at his feet, and he's only going to get better under John and hopefully me and progress. But the kid's technically outstanding, and I think he's certainly one to watch. So yeah, he's the right age. Listen, we were a little bit like God's waiting room last year. I think as front three in some games at a combined age of about 120 years old. So this year we've sort of freshened that up and freshened areas up with younger players and tried to future-proof this club. Listen, the team to look and admire is Ferriby. Ferriby came second to a great Hallam side, and then they went and won promotion at Cantor last year. So if you future-proof the club and you bring the right caliber of player in the right age and people with the right attitudes, then you've got a real chance of having success, and that's what we did last year. I built on Liam's good work and brought a little bit of sprinkling of magic dust with some players, and that got us over the line. And this year we've kept the majority of the squad, apart from a couple of lads going on to other things, i.e. Froggy going to Handsworth as joint manager, and Mitch retiring, and and then obviously Mason moving. He's not made his decision yet, and a couple of other lads that we've moved on for the right reasons, for them to play football. I didn't think they were going to play in our I don't need to name them on here, but didn't think they were going to get our team, and weren't really adhering to what I expected and what I wanted from other players. So we moved them on. So 5 have left, and we brought 5 in, and squad of 22, 23, all champing at the bit, ready for Saturday when we travel to Lincoln.
So again, you were saying about the strikers being, the free touching 100 plus years. However, last season, Mark West getting his 100th goal for Retford.
Unbelievable.
What a fantastic achievement that is.
The kid is like a fine wine. He's got better with age. I used to enjoy playing against Mark because I could get into his head, and I always used to nutmeg him, and he used to lose his head. It was quite funny. But what people don't realise about Mark is he can play centre-half, centre midfielder, and now he's made his way up to the top end of the pitch, where I think that's where he's best. And the kid is he's coming to training this year, and he's flying. He's flying. And I think he's just done a 5K this evening in less than 21 minutes, and he's nearly 38 years of age. So Mark's really, really staking his claim. He loves the club, and the club love him. And, he had a disciplinary issue last year. I think it was 4 red cards. 2, I believe, weren't red cards, so I'll stick up for him on those. And he missed 11 games. So think how many goals he'd have got if he'd have played in them 11 games. But the kid is everything that is right about Retford, and the fans love him, and I have a special soft spot for him because he gives absolutely everything. And sometimes that's to the detriment of his disciplinary record. But no, Mark's massively in our plans, and he'll be a massive player for us this season.
Are you looking to bring any more signings in? Like I said, you brought in 5 already. Is there any more when you wanted?
Only unless you and Jake are available. But no, listen, there's always. I don't like to be that manager that says no, that's it. This isn't the Euros or the World Cup where you pick a squad of 21 and you have to stick with it, or 26 or whatever it is now. This is a case of, what it's like, chaps. There's signings that happen. People at higher levels go into pre-season, they promise the world, and then they get delivered nothing. And also they think they're going to play, and then after 4 or 5 friendlies, they're not really kicking much of a ball, and they can pick up the phone to probably me or John and say, look, and if they can strengthen the group and they're the right character, then absolutely we'll look at it. But in my honesty, I'm extremely happy with the squad of 23 that we've got now. So there's no plans to move anybody on at this moment in time, and there's no plans to bring anybody else in. But again, pre-season and the first 5 or 6 games sorts the wheat from the chaff, and sometimes some people that I know from a higher level might pick up the phone and say, and we might not be where we need to be. So never say never. But again, I'll keep reiterating, I'm really, really happy with the group that we've got at the minute.
So like you said, 1st of July, your first pre-season against Lincoln United. Lincoln United.
We'll get beat 5-0, and then I'll be on here in a few months saying I brought another 6 players in. No. Listen, I am that manager. There is no friendlies. Win every single game. Winning breeds confidence. We'll even try and beat Mansfield Town first team. We will, because we're not going to. You never know. But you can see where I'm coming from. The emphasis is winning. We won every single game in pre-season last year, apart from Mansfield, and then we went 16 straight league games, 16 wins. And I'm telling you now, it does breed confidence. So I've made sure this pre-season is a tough one. It's unforgiving. We travel to Lincoln, which will be tough. Then we travel to a tough Handsworth team, and then we've got Mansfield first team, which will obviously be really easy. And then we get Matlock, Sheffield Club, Eastwood, which will be a cracking game with Darryl and the boys down there at Eastwood, who's putting together a very good side. And then we finish with Winterton, who's just gone up to the pitching up, whatever it is. There's a song in that. But yeah, so we finish with a really, really tough game. And that's what I wanted. I don't want no gimmies. I don't get anything out of 5 and 6-0 wins in pre-season. We want to sort of have a little mini season before a season, and we'll see will see exactly where we are when we play Sheffield Club and Matlock and Eastwood, and then finish with Winterton. The first game's always a little bit tentative. We know that. And we know Handsworth will be a test, and it'll be great to see Froggy and all the people at the club where I started my career at 5-year-old. Jesus, 35 years ago. You were making your debut in the fucking Dr. Martens 35 years ago, John, weren't you?
I reckon, but if I look back, yeah, that'd have made me 72. Yeah. Even though I look it.
Can't believe you haven't told them about your penalty record yet, JK. Come on, Naps, tell them.
Well, let's touch on John's career a little bit then. Come on, let's
you need to listen to Naps's career. The man's a fucking legend, mate. What a player. One of the best I've ever played with. Brilliant.
I was a midfield player, centre midfielder, and I didn't realise and I didn't know the game until I worked under Keith Alexander. And within a week, 2 weeks, Keith, centre midfield player, you have to be at end of both boxes, splash balls. You have to be fit as anything, and you play 2-touch, and you give it to the wide players, and you give it to the strikers who can play. Job done. And that was it. That was me. And again, I look at the players who you played against. You look at the players who are in the league, and I think for me, the massive difference for the top players, the top players keep doing the right things at the right time. They'll keep playing 1-touch, 2-touch. They know where the strengths and weaknesses of teams, and they keep feeding balls where the strengths are. And football's a simple game. And
made difficult by us.
Yes, sometimes I agree, Ryan, but you've got, there's a famous saying, is it Brian Clough? You can be the best coach in the world or manager, but if you've got bad players, and it is true. And Keith taught me a lot, and he was 4-4-2, big man, small man. Two midfield players who could run, and I was one of them. I was Forrest Gump. I don't
really.
Know vest.
Must have fucking missed that part of your career.
Listen. Yeah, that's why my legs were going at 2002 at Alfreton. I was lucky enough to get Lloydie was stupid enough to sign me for a bit of dough, didn't he? So, yeah. But then obviously I went to Alfreton, and they, again, when you look at it, and we speak about it a lot, and we even spoke about it today, Ryan, didn't we?
Yeah.
A sustainable football club, and Mr. Bradley, who went in probably 1999, and obviously North East Counties, and obviously Chris Wilder, who people still forget. They think, oh, look at him. He started his managerial career, and I always think it's the best thing ever. You start at that level and you learn so much. Training pitches, balls, cones, bibs. You have to go and train on Dogshit Park, but it gives you that grounding.
You have to do your apprenticeship, John, don't you?
100%, pal.
Listen, no, there's nobody that's come off a Dogshit Park on a Sunday morning and then gone straight into a first team.
No.
You know, and that's same in management, and I think that's why I hate to say it, I would never call unbelievable professional footballers failures, but I think that's one of the reasons that some of your big names that take these jobs fail, because they've been wrapped in cotton wool since they were probably 14, 15-year-old. They've not seen the mucky side of the game. They've probably never had a loan anywhere, and they come in and they try and manage a club of expectations, and it's completely different being a player to a manager. And I think that the ones that get the success, look at Fergie, where he started in Scotland. He served a tough apprenticeship. Mourinho was a translator and followed Bobby Robson, who learned all the tricks of the trade and the craft. And that's what I'm saying, is that the successful ones are the ones that get in the trenches and probably do a solid apprenticeship in terms 100%. Of management. And I think that's testament to Chris and what he did. And if we can achieve half of what he's done, then I'll have had a half decent management career. You never know. But it's these
you
days.
You have to do the hard line. You have to do the hard yards. You have to, right? It's like a coach. You see all these players and they think, right, I'm going straight to the Premiership. No, you do your grounding in non-league where you have to drive a minibus, you have to drive a bus, you have to have your own balls. This is the perfect example. Unfortunately, Chelsea were trigger happy. Graham Potter. People don't forget North East Counties many years ago.
Yep.
He's a classic example. There you go. So he's a brilliant manager. And when I think he had a question a few months ago where they were saying he's too nice, and he come out with a great quote. And because you're in non-league, you understood it. He was kind of saying, So you're trying to tell me I've got to be nice when I've got 16, 18 players. And like, we're in the situation now, Ryan, and we've done it as players. We've done it as, we can't hide from that. Oh, I don't want to train tonight. I'll make an excuse up. Or you've got 90 people and 85 in and shouting, you're fucking shit. And he's done his hard yards, and he deserves all the credit in the world, and he'll get another job. But these are the people who I look up, and it's like the players who go in from non-league into league football. I always take an interest in them because I want them to do well, because they've got that ethic and they've come from that background. They haven't been mollycoddled. And
they work harder than anybody.
100%. And we've been at clubs, Ryan, where these players who have been released by pro clubs, and you can talk about Forest, you can talk about Chesterfield, they come into a non-league and they think, I'm good enough to play. They start training, and after 2 weeks, you don't see them again because they can't handle it physically and mentally. And that's why I love to see non-league players going into league football, because they deserve everything they get. And again, the group at Retford, you've got people like Chappie who've played so many league games, and you see some of the videos, and I think, Jesus Christ, brilliant! What a character! And then there's the other lads, the younger lads. There's a great mixture at Retford who can all learn from each other. And I, like Ryan and like me, myself, I'm not a coach and an assistant manager. I'm also a person who, if anybody's struggling or anybody needs a quick chat, you phone there, because we've talked about it earlier, Ryan. The people at the end of the day. And if we can give them a bit of advice and a bit of mentoring, and that's a word don't really like, we're just giving them advice because we've lived in life. We've probably been through everything that they have.
Well, that's what I say, I don't call them players, I call them people. Players are performing seals, they're not animals, they're people, and, life and struggles and people. I think that's why people fall in love with non-league. And I think it's going to get even bigger given the current life and climate. And, like I was saying to somebody today, £100. If I wanted to take me and obviously Iris and Harlow to a game in a few years, obviously I want to take a 7-month year, and I had to pay, which I never do. But you're talking £100, 3 tickets, a bite to eat, a programme. It's not sustainable. It's so bad. But you see, in non-league, some of these lads are up at 6 a.m. Some are plumbers, some are labourers, some are gardeners, some are electricians. And I always tell them, it's people first. My phone's always on. I'm dealing with a player at the minute that's really, really struggling with a few things, and the whole team are getting behind him and offering him support and looking after him. And that's the biggest thing to me. And I said it in a tweet last year. If I never managed another football game or football, I'd be proud to manage that bunch of people, not players, people, because they're friends. They've built some, families, they may not, let's be honest. We're all part of a family. But I think when they walk through them gates or they put that shirt on, they become a family. And it's corny and it's cheesy, but they love each other and they care about each other. And I see it day in, day out. If anybody's struggling, my players get behind them, they look after them, and they do what they need to do. And like I said, life's tough at the minute. Life's really tough, and you've got to be more than just a manager. And that's what I pride myself on, is making sure that I'm there any hour of the day, to the detriment probably of my family sometimes, but any hour of the day for these boys. And
people don't see that, pal.
No, they don't see that. And this job, I signed a contract. It's a full, more or less, I won't say full time, but it more or less is. And it is a full-time job. It's a full-time job. And people see 90 minutes on a Saturday and 90 minutes on a Wednesday. They don't see the tireless hours, whether it's having, I've had players living in my apartment because they've had issues. I've took players out for tea. I've took players on holiday. I've done so many things. And that's not because I want them to think I'm the greatest manager of all time. It's because I genuinely care, and you get more out of people. You get more out of people if you treat them right and you look after them. And the world's changed. Gone are the days of, I won't name the manager, getting bottles thrown at your head when you're not performing. It's people need an arm around them these days. And I pride myself on being a friend before manager. And if that's to my detriment, that may be in the long run, but I won't change my philosophy that the people, not players. And if you look after them and you treat them like family, you tend to get that little bit extra out of them. And I think that won us countless games last year because we did things right, and always family first. It's always your family first. If there's any problems with work and your family, we look after you. And I think that's how we get the best out of people. I think gone are the days of effing and blinding and throwing things and coming out with statements and sacking players and doing this and then going home, waking up the next morning and thinking, shit, what have I done? You've got to be a thinker nowadays. You've got to really take into consideration what people are going through. And I get to know players. I meet every single player before I sign them. I want to sit down with them. I want to know about the family. I want to know about them and the background and what makes them tick. And I think if you do that, you tend to get a much better dressing room and people respect you. And when they walk in, they know who's in charge. And that's what I'm trying to build along with John. But yeah, I'm really proud to manage this group of lads.
Well, that's the thing. And if you go back on last season, for example, there was quite a lot of games where what Retford United won late on, and you could reflect saying that they're giving you that extra performance, that you're losing, and you fighting to the end just because, like you said, it's a unit.
They care about each other, Ben. They care about each other. They do things in the right way. They're relentless in their approach. They never lay down and let someone tickle the belly. When they cross that white line, that's the job, and it is a job. Whenever you're paid to do something, it's a job. Let's be realistic, and they're paid to give a service. But I will make them the best people that they can be, and if that's whatever it needs to be, we'll do to make sure that they can perform to the highest level. Another saying I know they're boring, but if I did write a book, this would be my saying is, you can't be brilliant every day, Ben. Yeah. Jake, you know that in work, in life, in relationships, in everything that you do, you can't be brilliant every day. But if you've got issues and you've got problems for that 95 minutes or that 3 hours that you're with this group of lads, sometimes them problems can disappear. And when they come back, I'm here for you. And I'll look after you and make sure you're all right. And then we'll go again on Wednesday night or whenever it is. And that's all you can do. That's all you can do. And hopefully you get the best out of people and people want to run through brick walls for you because they know that you're there for them and you'll always look after them. And even when people depart, never fall out with people. Never fall out with people. Life's too short. Every player that I've ever had, I've been texting one this morning and we talk. I still keep in contact with every majority, not everyone, but the majority of players that have played for me. I always check in on them and make sure they're all right because I had obviously the tragedy of Micah Bishop last year, which really hit me very, very hard. And I never want to go through it. I never want to do a eulogy again or carry another coffin. I don't want that. And if I can help, players, people before players and friends before manager, and if I can continue to do that, then hopefully I get the best out of them and they get the best out of me as well. So yeah, it was a sad time. God bless him.
Yeah, it is one of those. Unfortunately, when it comes to men, they don't like to open up as probably what we should, and that's it's getting a lot better now. There is lots of services what are provided to help men, but it's just one thing. Unfortunately, men sometimes just struggle.
Yeah.
With a weaker sex, pal. And while we're at it, look, that's why I've wore that. Mind, Body and Soul. They're a non-profitable charity exactly for that purpose, mental health.
Not like you to wear pink, John.
Well,
pink number, don't you?
Yeah.
Good job you didn't go further down. Trust me.
With David Dickinson, with Creosote at the moment, then I'm all right.
Yeah, you're looking good.
We've all had those, and again, this is where the word mentoring, it's a new word with a lot of these new words. And all you're doing is caring for somebody. That's how I look at it. I've like with Ryan, in some days, some weeks, some months, took him under his wing when he was a young pup, because I was 10. What? No, I wasn't. 13 years older. I was coming towards the end of my career. Ryan, the other Ryan France, and the lads who were Alfton at that time, you wanted to help them and you wanted to give them advice, and you left it with them. If they took it, great. But it's one of those things, and I'm a people person where if I know lads are struggling because I've been through it myself, and there's still two professionals who now, and they don't need to be named, they know who they are, who I still keep in touch with and touch base with them because of the issues from a few years ago. And sometimes I can spot it, but it's a big taboo, and I've been through, like when Ryan was mentioning it, my brother's lad at 24 took his own life with suicide over a girl. And what I learned, and still continue to learn, that, like you say, men, they don't open up. It's a sign of weakness. No, it's not. But just open it up. Text message, keeping in touch with people, not just hello. How you doing? What you been up to? Give us a call. 10 minutes. It's nothing. It's free. And again, we go back to what we're doing now at the moment and continuing at Retford. First and foremost, if the players get £2 or £2,000, they're getting paid. So they have to be professional. We have to be professional. And we want to give them that best environment for them to thrive. And again, on Saturday, that's the build up to July 29th, Ryan, isn't it? Where we want to be flying. We want to be at it. And that's all that matters. Me coming into this new environment, I've not been at a club before. We're not going to give secrets away, but the lads who are doing things away from the football pitch when they've got work, family, holidays to juggle, they're doing something which is brilliant, absolute brilliant. And I think to myself, wow, there's a good group. There's a great group.
Even I did it today, John.
I know you did, you blistered piss pot.
Yeah, I decided to run without trainers on, so it lasted about half the Roll Valley before.
You run without trainers or socks?
Oh, sorry, yeah, I'm thinking of Moses Gibson. No, I ran without socks.
He's all about.
Finished up with a swing out sister on the right chucker. Yeah. So yeah, that's my outfit season, I think, pal.
See, prepare socks, shoes. It's like running in fucking golf shoes. Jesus. Fuck's sake.
I know.
So you don't fancy going out to out the oddest geezer then, with him running the length of Africa then?
No.
By the way.
No. And he's ginger as well. I'm surprised he's still living. He's in a fucking backpack and a pair of trainers. I thought it might disintegrate, bless him, but doff me cap to him, stuff like that. You know, listen, they're memories that live a lifetime, and the man deserves if he's raising money for charity, deserves every single penny he gets. Same as my pal Richie Humphries, you know, he's doing this bike ride, and obviously
St.
it's
Luke's.
a phenomenal thing for his dad, and I've lost people in St. Luke's dear to me, and it's a fantastic charity and unbelievable what he's doing. I wouldn't like to be his gooch tomorrow when I think it finishes, because he's going to be sore for some days. He's going to need some serious attention on his lower regions. But yeah, unbelievable what him and that group of people are doing. So yeah, well done, Richard. And donate if you can. I have.
It's
you wouldn't part with a fart though, John, would you?
Tighter than cramp.
So, after the becoming champions, you went to Tenerife.
Yes.
Fantastic holiday.
Yeah, really good. Some enjoyed it more than others. But one thing the players did do, and again, this is testament to them. You know, I didn't go out that night. I let my fiance go out for the night and missed the Sheffield Wednesday comeback, so it wasn't probably a good one for me to miss. But no, somebody knew somebody that had a bar, and it was quite a small sports bar, and there were a few people in, and they basically said, look, what's the chances of 30 airy arse blokes coming in with a few airy arse women as well? But no, and they allowed them in, and they said it's the best night they've ever had in that bar, for takings, for singing, for dancing, for just a group of wonderful people. And we had a lovely message put on Facebook, and that's what I say. You know, these lads conduct themselves professionally and really, really well in the club and out of the club, and from that, you know, the board and myself and other people connected, have committed to do it again next year. So it's an unbelievable club, and we've got some fantastic board members, and we've got a fantastic chairman and owners, and we're going in the right direction. And you know, that's another thing that people want to join for, not just a free holiday, but they understand and see these things, you know, see these tweets and Instagram posts and think, you know what, I won't mind a piece of that next year. So yeah, definitely better get packing your Speedos, John.
Hiya, Knapper, here we come.
Yeah, absolutely. But no, it's just little things like that, chaps, are just why I think our club differentiates itself from from anywhere else, because if we say we're going to do something, we do it. We just invested £6,000 in new nets. There's people down at the ground every day making it better. We've just had new nets, well, the old nets, put on the training ground and on a full-size pitch marked out. So we are trying to be, having been professional, and John having been at professional clubs, is I try and keep it as professional as I possibly can. And, we're not full-time, but if we treat it like we are, and we have sessions like we are, and we work as hard as we can, then we can potentially compete. And that's what gets you them late goals. That's what that last 80 minutes when people are breathing out the what's, we come alive and we kick on and we put teams to bed. And that's because we try and do things, ultra professionally, and we make players accountable as well. So if you can do that, we've got a chance. And that's, like I said, we're in a good place for this season, I think. And with the players that we've, the other additions of Nick Guest and Ash Worsfold and Josh Scully, potentially, I hope there's 60, 70, maybe 80 goals between them three in the career. If you average out the goals, Josh got 23 last year, Guesty got 31. Ash Worsfold's always been in the top 4 or 5 in the, in the Northern League North for Gainsborough and Baseford and stuff like that. So we've got a good mix. And again, we've got no knobheads, as I say, because there's martyrs. There's people that leave for an extra tenner, or there's people that hound you and bore you and tell you how good they are, and they're not. We don't have that. I have no problems. Nobody rings my phone asking for anything. I think they feel privileged to be at this club, and they get well looked after, not necessarily financially, but just with everything that we try and give them on and off the pitch. So yeah, we're like I said, we're in a great place at the minute, and hopefully we can kick on and have a really, really successful season. We'll certainly be through the lack of trying and the talent that we've got in the group.
Well, last time you was on the podcast, you had your notepad, your pen, you was that excited, you was trying to write the team down. It was only a couple of games before the start of the season. It's not long now until your pre-season. Are you looking forward to this one?
I think this is a proper pre-season. I think we'd be underdogs in every single game that we go into. Lincoln were pitching in last year, and I think I didn't speak to him. I saw an interview with Craig Parry Worksup and said it's one of the toughest games that they've had. Unfortunately, they got relegated, so they're sort of the league above us across, and I think they're expected to go well. Handsworth are a league above. But I know John and Wardy have got a full sort of rebuild job, but I know they've got lots of good players, and they'll be organised. John and Mark are brilliant at what they do. And then obviously we've got the easy one against Mansfield, and then Matlock, who have I love Gandhi to bits. I think Martin's a great guy, great manager, and a top man on and off the pitch. And I think he conducts himself a little bit like me. He really looks after his players. So that's again a team 4 leagues above. So that'll be a tougher Sheffield club, 2 leagues above. Matlock 3 leagues above, and then Eastwood, who are a league above, and then we finish with Winterton, who are 2 leagues above. So every game that we go into pre-season, we're underdogs. So it's it's going to be interesting. We've made it a very, very tough testing pre-season this year. So I'm excited by the games that we've got. I might not be saying that in 6 weeks, but I'm excited by the games. We've got every single game's a test. But I'll tell you what, we'll give everybody a game. Touch wood.
And again, you were going through your previous teams in the last episode. And Worksop Town, they've delivered as well. They was like yourself. They've won the league with flying colours.
Yeah.
How do you expect them to compete in their new level?
Well, they've got a good management team, a winning mentality, a good management team, a great management team in non-league. Craig's had some great successes. He's always delivered wherever he's been. They've got a very ambitious chairman, a good friend of mine, Pete, who has invested in the club very well in terms of the pitch, the infrastructure, the stands and stuff. So it's again that's another club that I believe between us. I think that if they get the success, they'll be full time. Works up in 18 months because they've got the infrastructure, they've got the ground, they've got the facilities for pre-matches and they've got a fairly successful academy there as well. So I wish them nothing but success. I want all my previous clubs as players and managers to do really, really well. But I think they'll be strong again. I've not looked too much at the signings. I ain't seen anything really. So I think they're probably keeping the cards close to the chest, but they'll kick on. They've got some fantastic players, and they've got a winning mentality, and that again, but there is a big difference between that League One and Premier. There is, there's some very, very good teams and some big investments. But listen, money don't win you fuck all. It gets you the best players, but doesn't necessarily win you anything. It's all about how you build that dressing room and the camaraderie and players that are willing to do, as I say, get blood on the shirt, mud on the knees, and run through brick walls for you. So I'd expect them to be top 6 this year. But they'll go well. I expect Matlock to go really, really well as well. And I hope Matlock go really well for Gandhi and another previous club of mine, a great club who were on the up. I saw the other day, I think the attendances have gone from something like 477 to 780. So I'm telling you, non-league will keep prospering and it'll keep getting better. I just wish there were more funding for certain ground improvements for things. But I think non-league's in a fantastic state at the minute. I really, really do.
And long may it continue. But
I hope so.
Like, another club that you mentioned in the podcast last time that you thought would struggle, that didn't. Stocksbridge. Right. What you thought of them?
Yeah, I did well there. Sorry, Richo. And that's not Ian. Ian's great. Listen, Ian's one of the best managers in the business. I'm telling you that now. I love Richo to bits, and we've had some great battles against each other, and we get on. We've been players together, and the job that he's done is nothing short of fantastic. Stocksbridge's biggest problem this year will be keeping him. I know they've lost a few players, and you can get disgruntled because Graham runs a tight ship. Graham Furness is a wonderful man. Love him to bits. But again, excuse the pun, you can only piss with the cock that you've got, and money does get you better players. But what Richo's proved this year, if you get the right blend and you get youth, sprinkle with a little bit of experience, you can get in these playoffs. You can. And he's done an unbelievable job. So I hope he stays. I wouldn't be surprised if he gets lured away, if certain local clubs of bigger stature aren't achieving. But yeah, it's going to, I think Richard will be the first to tell you if you ever get him on here, it's another tough task for him this year. More and more money's getting pumped into your higher teams. But yeah, works up going out of that league, and I forget who else went up, but two of the big teams and the big payers have gone. So maybe it might be a little bit more competitive this year. But there's always somebody that comes along and pumps loads of money into it and expects us instant success, and it's not always like that.
Don't work, pal.
Not always.
No, don't work.
There's one club that has had a lot more money pumped into it. I don't like to mention them. They're still in League Two. Mansfield.
Oh,
yeah, money all about it. It's still there.
No.
I think it's true.
I think there's been some shrewd signings this year. I think Nigel's a great guy. I look forward to seeing him in a few weeks. And obviously our owners are the Radfords, and they're expecting a good season this year, as they do expect a good season from us as well. They follow us very, very closely. They come to 2 or 3 games a year, which is lovely. But yeah, I think Nigel's a wily young cat, and he knows how to win football games. And I think this year he was dogged by injuries last year. I'm not being funny. There was games where he couldn't get. He had 2 centre halves missing, a left back. Then he managed to put together a back 4. I watched the game, and within 15-20 minutes, I think was it against Harrogate? Was it a midweek game? And the left back limped off, and he had to put a right back at left back. It plagued by injuries, and I think this year he'll have him champing at the bit. He's made some great signings, and they'd certainly be my tip for promotion this year. And I hope for everybody connected that they do. I just hope they have an off day on the 13th. Sure they won't. But
yeah, I'm certainly thinking, surely this season is the one. But
you'll be there or thereabouts, pal.
Yeah, they will. Sure.
You know what my predictions are like.
Yeah.
Although I did say Worksop would go up. They went up. I just got it wrong about Stocksbridge, but yeah.
Hey, what was it like at Mansfield when you were there, John?
Where? When I trialled?
Yeah.
Bloody hell.
Oh, there was something.
Jesus.
I'd love to have seen that training ground, Naps.
No,
was Stanty playing then?
No, I played against Stanty when he was at Worcester. It's a good story, that, because you know Middo, Gary Middleton.
Yeah.
Kick it and edit Middy. And after about 30 minutes playing against Stanty, he went, Naps, have a word with centre forward. He just keeps grabbing me bollocks when he holds ball up. And fair play to Stanty. He did it. His background, he's a great guy, an army and everything. And he'd go into a tattle with him, he'd help you up, and he'd say, "Good tattle that, what the game want next time." And listen, at Mansfield, I mean, I went up to Sunderland, we played at the old Roker Park, and Kevin Ball, he played in midfield, and I did all right, to be fair. And then they said to me, "Look, we know you're on contract, and obviously you can play a game against Aston Villa." And I used to think I was quite quick, and I come up against the Julian Joachim. And after 2 strides, where I was just starting to walk, he was 15 yards in front of me, and I had a fucking stinker. But that was me done then. And then obviously Keith, like we say, he was the assistant there. He obviously got lured away to Ilkeston on a good budget, full-time YTS program, and Keith got that club going, and God bless his soul. He's probably, I've took a lot from Keith, not only in football, in life, because down to earth, humble, nobody had a bad word to say about him. So if I can remember it as down to earth and humble, I'm not too sure about nobody had a bad word to say. But listen, you learn a lot from people, and again, me being as I am now, as a bit of an old timer, if I can pass on my knowledge, my experience, it doesn't cost a penny, give it free. I say in the training sessions, the best thing in the world is communication. It's free, and that's in life as well. And you can be the best you can. And as like I was limited as a football player. I was fit, I could get about, and my touch, that was it. I get it to players who can play, and that got me through it. But if you can pass that on now in a coaching capacity, and you can see little bits and bobs, I can just pass it on. And the lads at Retford, I mean, unfortunately for me, I went away last week. The first session was brilliant. They all welcomed me. There was no, like I say, you didn't get a vibe about anybody. They were a great group, and they worked. And after, more or less everybody said thank you. And I thought, you know what, that'll do me. I'm happy with that. But that's what, to be fair, that's what Ryan's done. He's got a group of players who are polite. They want to do right. And it's going to be a good, enjoyable time now. We all want the same goal. And like we said before, we'll keep everything in-house. But people can talk about this, that, and the other. They don't know what's going off. Only we know, and we have got the environment, and we've got the facility, we've got the board, like Ryan said. They want to do things right, but in achievable chunks. And we keep talking, we've talked about it. Mr. Bradley at Alfreton, 20-odd years, where they come from to where they are now, absolutely brilliant. And if you look at the model that they had, they get players in and they sell them, but they don't over budget, and they got to the National League. People still forget about that. They got to the National League, and they're now in the National League North.
And they've lost in the playoffs twice as well to get back into it. They lost to Fleetwood, and then they lost this year to Brackley. I think, was it Brackley 1-0?
Yeah. But the infrastructure and the hierarchy, what they've got, is very similar. When I met all the people at Retford, they've got that same kind of mentality and ambition. And as long as they do it in achievable chunks, and as long as, obviously, Ryan had pressure last year, he's going to have pressure this year. Part of my little bit, take the pressure off him, but I've got to step up. I've got to do what Ryan wants. When I'm with him, when we're at the coaching sessions in games, he's the manager. I call him Gaffer. When I speak to him on the phone, it's Ryan. You've got to have that kind of...
He's called me worse in his career, trust me.
I haven't. I don't think I ever have. I've called you things where you've had to kind of think, yeah, he's right there, the old bastard, but that's it.
Probably,
you know
I
that.
Probably weren't tracking back.
No, listen, that's in life and everything, pal. You know what? But that's the kind of thing that you create an environment and you can achieve anything. And that's what we want to do. We know what we've got to do. We know where we are. Come Saturday, that's the start of it. And to be fair, I've got a glint in my eyes. My wife's saying, "You're looking forward to it, aren't you?" Yeah, I am. I'm wanting to get into it and get cracking and enjoy it and see where we go, because I want to do well, and I want Ryan to do well, and I want him to go on. I want him to be there, hopefully, for many years to come, as long as the club's on the up and up. But like you said previous, if managers are doing well, then people are looking and thinking, oh, he's doing all right there. Could he do a job? Of course he could. Of course he could. We just see where we go. But we've had a great couple of weeks. Ryan's with the lads and everything. There's been no problems. Train tomorrow, bit of rest, and then Saturday it's full steam ahead because it's gearing up to July 29th and getting ready and wanting to do well in these games.
Saturday, Wednesday, and then they give them Saturday off, and we're all heading to York for a day for a bit of a team bonding session. Brilliant. It's a thing that I'm keen on. You know, Chris Wilder was an advocate of it. You know, a bonded team's a better team. You know, and you know, getting these new players in and getting them on the piss. It's you tend to find out you might have got one or two loose cannons, but no. Jokes aside, I think we left one or two of them in Tenerife, but it is, you know, they've got the gel on and off the pitch because it's a long season, 46 games and cup games and everything else. It's a testing season, and we need every single player. And that's the thing is people have got to know. They've got to know each other. They've got to know what makes them tick as well, and who can have that roasting on a pitch, and who needs an arm around him, who needs a kiss and a cuddle, who needs, you know, we're all individuals. We're all different types of people who react different to certain situations. And I think last season I changed massively as a manager, and I don't think I lost my temper once. I used to try and make up for maybe the lack of talent in some of my teams due to budgets and other stuff by being that aggressor and trying to make people. I think Fergie once said, you know, my job's to make people achieve things that they don't believe that they can, and that's what we try and do. And like I said, this year I had the best players, I had the best team, and that's why we won the league. And this year we'll have a good look at the league and we'll see what people are about, and we'll certainly give it a right good go. It's exciting times at that football club, and again the derbies make it even sweeter, and that'll bring a lot of interest to the town. So yeah, we've got it in a good place. It's certainly in a better place than it was 5 or 6 years ago. That's for sure. So yeah, we're just going to keep building, keep doing the right things, keep trying to get the best out of people, and you know, treating them as people. Like I said before, players. It's a big philosophy of mine.
When we come to visit you last season and we vlogged the Phoenix game, I've just been watching it back actually. We got Tom Brooks's goal, okay. Now, if you've seen a video of what we got and you've seen Topliss's hands on the head, oh my God, what was that? Would you say that's probably the best goal you've seen all season? Because there was some fantastic goals scored.
No, it probably come off Brooks's bunion or his knee, but no, listen, Brooks is a rare breed. I think he got 9 goals last year. He's another kid. He gels that dressing room as captain last year. He's just a beautiful human being. Was it the best? No. Charlie Baird's was the best goal. It's quite funny. It's sort of like Pinball Wizard. It goes from sort of Frey Ventus to Juventus with his finish, but the build up to it is just horrific. You know, there should have been a bell in the ball. Honestly, if you watch the build up to that Charlie Baird goal, it's fantastic. There's people missing the ball. It ricochets off somebody's backside. It's somebody on the cock end, goes somewhere else. Somebody then miscues a pass. Then it drops back out. It drops about 25 yards on the full and he hits it left foot in off the bar. So, yeah, get that on your page. But it's a phenomenal goal. But we scored some great goals. But I'm more of a team goal. I like to see good play. And it finished with an end product rather than, you know, like my centre half probably ran out of puff and just kicked it and it flew in. But no, Brooks is a legend at the club and he deserves to be. He's been a fantastic servant and hopefully long may it continue. But yeah, there's some great goals. But yeah, that was a good one. Don't get me wrong. Mason's first game of the season was great. Westy's first game of the season. There's been some cracking goals. But like I said, I like to see a nice team goal. But yeah. There were some good goals, mate. Yeah, absolutely. Keep coming. We might score some more. You never know.
Yeah. But we'll have to definitely get down again. I drove past it today on the way to work, and still got the champion sign up on the gate.
Yeah. Hopefully we keep that on. But no, the expectation again from powers that be is just improvement. You know, improve the team. But what you got to remember in non-league, it's an improvement of everything. So they have a duty of care to improve things off the pitch, which they've done fantastically. New nets, full-time groundsman, lots of good things happening. The training pitch is all cut every single day, fully marked out as an 11-a-side pitch. So they have a duty of care to do that side of things, which they've fulfilled. It's now our duty to go and put smiles on people's faces, improve the crowds. The crowds are up massively, and they'll continue to grow. We've got a young following now that's getting bigger, and there's lots of things that we're trying to put in place with our juniors and parents and other stuff to really sort of build a team for the town, I guess, because Retford have got a good following as well, Retford FC. So we're not trying to steal fans off them and vice versa, but what we're saying is get as many people in the town as we can wearing Retford shirts, whether it's Retford United or Retford FC. Hopefully it's black and white, but either way, we want it to become a true footballing town, and we want that rivalry because it's good, it's healthy rivalry. But yeah, we want to see improvement on and off the pitch, and I think we'll be doing everything we can on, because the board have met us halfway off the pitch with the new infrastructure they've put in place. So again, it's a great time to be at that football club, especially like I said, like John alluded to earlier. I went back to help John and Dave when the shit really hit the fan, and it was just so depleted. There was really no budget there at all, but I felt I owed it to my pal in John and Dave, who I admire greatly, and the fans and the club to try and stick with them and stick through them tough times. So now I think I'm getting what I deserve, hopefully, and that's getting this club, we, not me, because it's a collective, we as players, board, assistant managers, coaches, get this club back to where it deserves to be in the bright lights of the bigger non-league circuit. So yeah, we're in a good place, and that's all you can be. I'm happy where we're at the minute.
And John, we mentioned it before, you got the twinkle in your eye. How excited are you to be back in football and ready to go for the season?
Just my boots are polished. I won't say my balls
John,
are polished.
They'll be polished. Listen, he takes the longest in the shower, that man. Do you still use Dove soap, John? Because most people use shower gel, but you used
Dove
to get
sensitive.
fucking right lather on, didn't you, with that? He's got a little fucking box for it as well. You know what your nan and granddad have when they go on holiday? He's got his little soap box. He's in the shower for fucking ages because he's long in the shower. And then the fucker comes out and decides to cocoa butter himself from fucking head to toe.
No, that's
by the time he comes out for his glass of fucking Diet Coke, everybody's fucked off.
We can always tell a story about that, pal, because I always remember it. Mick Godber, we played a game, and I was seeing a girl at the time, lovely girl. It was about 3 games before the season. We were going to go to Cyprus, and it was the first game she'd come to, and obviously I didn't know. So I'd come out of the getting in the shower and stuff, whatever, and I come round into the players' bit to get a bit of food, and the girl went, "Are you all right?" I went, "Yeah." And I went, "Why, are you all right?" She went, "Yeah, I'm all right." I went, "No, what's up?" She went, "Centre forward over there, Godber."
Big lad.
He'd gone up to her and said, "Who are you waiting for?" And she obviously went, "Oh, John. Oh, he'll be ages." And then he went, "Have you forgot something?" And she went, "No, what do you mean?" He went, "Your tits." So she was flat-chested. That was the introduction to Alverton FC and Mick Godber.
He's vile like that.
You think, but again, she laughed it off, and I thought, "Cheers, Mick. That's great, that son. Thank you."
Well, then we didn't tell her how big your cock was, and you got to shag her, so that's always a plus, John.
Well, I think you got me through the door with that, pal, because
I did, mate.
Yeah, can you remember?
I did, yeah.
So I owed you one for that many years ago. Yes, yeah.
Totally got a cock like an old gym rope, but that worked. But yeah, there's a funny story.
Sorry, mate. They're the dressing rooms where it was horrible, but a good horrible. That was a great dressing room for a couple of years because the characters there from you mentioned. I look at Carl Bradshaw, just come out of the league. He took to non-league like a duck to water. And you had Charlie Williamson, assistant manager. Brad used to cut anything he could find to Charlie's, because all you'd hear after the game is, "Oh, fucking hell, Bradshaw, belt, nailed his shoes once, socks, anything." And you just thought, I hope it's not me, but you just it was brilliant. And you had like a Milky, Mick Goddard, obviously. You had Godber, yourself, Bradders, Obbo.
Yeah. Well, I remember Lincoln. Last time I went to Lincoln, I obviously had my match boots and my warm-up boots. They were them blue and white ones, John. They were beautiful. Them Adidas ones that we got through Alfreton.
Yeah,
and
yeah.
I remember nutmegging Brooksy. Big Daz Brooks, good pal of mine, great player. So I nutmegged Brooksy in the warm-up, and I sort of called it. And I got back in the dressing room to put my match boots on, and the cunt had cut me fucking laces because I nutmegged. So I had to take my fucking laces out of my trainers. So I finished up playing with fucking white laces in my boots, in my match boots, because he cut through them because I nutmegged him in the warm-up, the big bastard. Yeah. And then Matt Fisher, the fucker. I don't like bogies or sick. And Fish used to pick his nose and wipe his bogey on my trainer, on my boots before a game. So when I went to tie my boots, I just threw up everywhere. Every game. Honest to God, every single fucking game would he do that, the dirty pig. But honestly, but it used to help me because I was probably still pissed up from the night before travelling back from London, so it helped me. But yeah, he just used to wipe a bogey on my boot, and I just, well, God, it should have meant me get now, please. But yeah, just some
dressing. But it's the dressing rooms what they create, and that's what Ryan's alluding to. It was horrible, but a nice dressing room. There was nothing personal. It was just
where were it, John? When you scored a great goal, and I celebrated. Stafford away. And on the way back, Bradders had got loads of fireworks, hadn't he? And he made bus stop and set fireworks off down this bridge. You know what people walk under?
Yeah.
So he got them big fuck off air bomb, and he just and literally just smoke coming out of both ends of the bridge, and he was just like, "What are we doing?"
And then week after, when we were training, he let one of his Chinese fireworks off, and it set all the alarms off at ground, and he's just there sniggering around, and Lloyd is going, "Oh, bastard.
What
Bradshaw."
Yeah. But
they're the dressing rooms, and they got you promoted because you were all in it together, similar to what created.
He used to smoke a fag out in his Jap's eye as well, Bradders, didn't he? After a game, just put a fag in his end of his cock and smoke it.
Yeah, just a great bunch of lads, diverse mix from Bradders Premier League to us who were non-league seasoned veterans to younger lads, and you just used to think, I go back to it, you used to look forward to and love going. You couldn't wait. And that's the environment that we create here. We don't want people, I don't really want to go, because you've lost them. But if you create an environment where you can't wait to get to training and you can't wait to go to games, and then the nights what we had, and on Saturday when you're winning, it's great. And stories, X-rated ones, and writing books on, and people won't believe it, but some of the things, but that's all created from the football club. And listen, right, we in football, from whatever level you are, there's acquaintances and friends. You lose touch with people, and then you find out who people are. They'll ring you if they want something, or could you get me in at this place? But there's friends in your phone book who we've had 20, 25 years on, who genuinely care. And these lads, hopefully, I'll be long gone by then, because I'll be 106 in 25 years.
But, I don't miss necking aftershock with Godber either. I'm waking up in a pub covered in fucking vomit, having to pay a bill for bed and
but even when I was to his 50s the other week, and they're reminiscing about when they got banned from the pubs with Chris and things like that at Worksop, and you just think, brilliant.
Tried to have a fight with firemen. That went
yeah, and got arrested. Then. Yeah. God bless his soul. I was the excuse every time he went out, because obviously I didn't drink, and I went taxi. I had to wait for naps. Oh, all right, mate. Yeah. If he watches that, Jesus Christ. Fucking hell.
But
and Milky.
Honestly, when they crashed his car, didn't they, bless him? Honestly, some of the stories, they are X-rated. But we
did no harm.
That's why we had success. We won every league. We won every league with Alfred under Chris. Yeah. We won the quadruple. Then Dave come in. We won the league again, and then I think we won the league again. And there is a moral to the stories that good players win your games, but great teams win your leagues.
In the dressing room,
and that's the main 100%. Focus for us. We've got the players. We've got the dressing room. You need a bit of, in Dave Bassett's terms, a bit of rub of the green, and you don't want to get injuries, and you don't want to get certain suspensions. But what I'm trying to pride myself on this year is being able to replace quality with quality. So having 22 players, 23 players, where if somebody is injured, we replace him with somebody equally as good or a different option. So, yeah, great times, and we could write books about these times. It's been phenomenal. But it's my turn now. I suppose it's my turn and John's turn to go and relive these memories and create some more as managers now rather than players. You know, you're fucked if me and John have to play. So hopefully, yeah. Oh, yeah, still got a bit. Somebody like a racing snake, son, aren't you?
No. 42, having to turn out for Retford when we had 11 players at Whitby.
Whitby away. And I got injured. I did.
That's when the doldrums were around, where we had the lads, like we say, we had JT, Mickey Blythen, the keeper who we mentioned, Dave
Darwin, yeah.
They were getting 25, 30 quid and travelling to Whitby, but turning up. And again, it was testament to what we were trying to do. We were surviving. But now the club's turned around again. They've learnt the lessons. I know they have. And this is where Retford is now. And it's vital, achievable chunks. Don't get ahead of ourselves, and we won't, but we'll see where we are. And that's the best thing ever. What we do stops inside the place, doesn't it? Like we've always said.
Correct.
And a few nights out.
Definitely. Were you driving?
Yeah, listen, again, going back to what...
In your fucking hairdressers, Carl.
Yeah. To what they did last year, though, right? I have never known, and I'll look back, the club might take you away for a couple of days, but I've never known a football club to pay for everyone, all-inclusive,
all week.
In Tenerife, all week. And you just think, do you want to be a part of it? Yeah, but you've got to get there first. But that's a little, like you said, a little reward. Who knows where the club want to take us? But we've got to do well first. Little bit of an incentive, to be honest.
We're doing as best. That's what you can do, gents.
100%.
It can't be brilliant every day, but just give me everything that you've got, and you'll do for me.
And next year, I'm like Peter Stringfellow. I'll be walking down that beach
with thong on.
Oh yeah.
Do they make speedos that fucking big? Like a cow's udder hanging out. They're like a cow's udder hanging out at speedos going down beach.
I always say, pal, I've got size 7 feet. Obviously, God gave me them, but He also gave me a little bit of front at queue for other bit, which I've got to be grateful for. I wish I could reverse it, to be honest, but I can't. I prefer a bit more talent in my shoe and then take a bit off that, but you know.
You can't help what you get, pal.
You have to embrace it, don't you? It's got me through some doors, but
it's got you in some trouble and all.
Exactly. Hence why I didn't get married until I was 53.
That could change after a year with me. No, we're all good. Family first.
No,
always.
Exactly, pal. Exactly. You've lived through now. You're a father for 2. You've got responsibilities like all the players, like other people in every profession.
Almost on my second wife, which is good.
Yep, exactly.
Wikipedia page is building.
It's like us both, right? We've met some who have not been right for us, and we haven't been right for them in some respects. So you have to give them a little respect.
We do.
But it's just how life is, pal. It's just how life is. And we can take whatever we've done to his grave, and we haven't hurt anybody. We've not ever got in trouble. We've not got the police. We've never had to in fights. It's all been harmless, great.
Because we were quick at running.
Memories. There has been a couple of occasions, yeah.
Couldn't catch us. Like I said, Benji, it's we're in hopefully, God willing, health, wealth, all that sort of thing. God willing that we can, everybody keep safe and we can go and have a. And you know what, joke aside, I want everyone to have a good year. Don't matter opposition, like I keep alluding to, life's tough out there and it's only getting tougher. And if I can say anything, is that reach out to people, talk to people. Anybody watching this, if they're in any sort of problems, there's people to call, there's people to speak to. You're all loved. We're all loved by somebody, and we need to try and get rid of the stigma of being men and be honest with people how we are and how we're feeling, and make sure that we can get through it and help people get through it, because we all react differently to things. But if we can on a Saturday and a Wednesday and Mondays when we train as well, if we can give people a smile and put a smile on the faces, and whether that's supporters, anybody connected with this club, or even opposition fans who watch us, conduct yourself right, do things right, and put a smile on people's faces, then we're fulfilling our obligation to the game. So, but again, anybody watching this who's struggling, send me a message. I'll ring you if I don't know you. I don't care. I'm a big advocate of it. I've seen it with my own eyes, and you're loved. People love you, and reach out and look after yourselves. I think that's a big message.
100%.
From me.
Yeah. Can I ask you both one question? Other than Retford, who are you looking forward to playing most next season, if there is one?
You want to go first, Paul?
Yeah, I will. I'm looking forward to going to Wakefield, not prison. But no, I'm looking forward to see what they've developed over at Wakefield. I think that seems to be another club that seems to be doing the right things. I also always enjoy going to Brig. I like Brett, the manager there. Brett Agnew's a good guy, great player. Got a lot of time for him on and off the pitch. So yeah, I'm looking forward to Brig, and I'm looking forward to Wakefield and seeing what they've put together.
John, what about you, mate? We're looking forward to playing.
I don't even think he knows who's in the league. Honestly.
I do, pal, because I've got two.
He's never been this low.
No, that's not unfair. That's unfair, pal. I've got two, because at least, obviously, I'm Chesterfield based. I'm only a mile as such from Staveley, and they obviously they're doing things on and off the pitch, which are fantastic. And also Shirebrook, because I want to see when we play them, and obviously what Ryan's alluded to, they're making signings and good players, and I want to have a look at that, because we'll see where we are as well. Are we far away? Are we better? Are we not? Because they're doing things what they want to do. Great, brilliant. And lastly, Parkgate, the pitch.
There's some good pitches now. People have improved that, and that's a big thing for me. Don't be paying people telephone numbers and playing on Dogshit Park. Get your infrastructure right first.
Yeah.
So that'll be good. But I'm looking forward to Harrogate as well. I hope that's a Saturday, because I love Harrogate for a night out. So hopefully I can get the lads for a night out over in Harrogate. It's a great place. I love it. It's one of my favourite places in the country. So listen, they're all fun. They're all fun, and they'll all be met with the same respect and given the respect that they deserve from us. And we'll always try and do things right on and off the pitch, and hopefully we get the right results. But yeah, some interesting matchups this year. It's going to be an interesting league. I think, I never talk out of school, but I will in this occasion, in terms of if the bookies put odds, I think we'd be one of the favourites. But like I said, we're going to look at the league. We're going to see where we go, and that control what I can control. And people signing players, fantastic. It's only good for non-league. It's only good for the clubs and the gates, and it helps clubs. So yeah, like I said, I'll just wish everybody a healthy, successful season, both on and off it. But yeah, I wouldn't say we're ready to go yet, because I've got 6 or 7 pre-season games to get through yet. But the signs are good, chaps, and that's good. Signs are good. How many times can I say good? But yeah, we're in a good place. I've said good again. Fucking hell. Yeah. Good. Word of the day.
Well, whilst we're on it, Ted Lasso t-shirt.
Be a goldfish, Ben. Well, I've watched it about 4 times now, because I've got my fiance watching it. So that's our sort of bedtime relax until Roy Kent comes on and she jumps all over me because she's got a soft spot for Roy. But he made a brilliant point in one of the episodes in season 3, and I loved it. He said, football clubs, he went, we only rent them, and he's right. We only borrow them, and it's true. I want Retford to be long after I'm gone, and hopefully while we're borrowing that piece of Retford and being manager and assistant manager and what we are, that we make an impact and we go down in folklore. But it wasn't just a great point, is that people sometimes forget that it's supporters that own football clubs. They're the ones that keep them alive, and it just resonated with me that it's a big thing. We only rent it. I could hopefully not get the sack next year. I could hopefully take Retford through the leagues and get a move. You don't know, but yeah, for this moment in time, I hope I'm here for a long time, and you know, I rent it for a bit longer than I should, or borrow it for a bit longer than I should. But yeah, it's I love the program. It's absolutely, anybody who's not watched it, please watch it. Give it a go, because it's absolutely brilliant. It's my favourite program all time. So I've got this Roy Kent one, and I've also got Football is Life. I've got another one as well. So interesting t-shirts. But yeah, great program. Makes you laugh and makes you cry at the same time.
Should have put Football is Life on. That could have been your 3 words.
I said 4 last time, I think, when you give me 3 words.
Well, we take the out of it.
I think I've got
Working man's game. Have it that way.
Listen, Rye, the best 3 words from David Lloyd. You might be able to pick.
So my 3 words are: football is life.
John, what are your 3 words, mate? How do you sum up football in 3 words? We asked this everybody.
Very well hung.
I told you beforehand, but go on. What can you muster up?
In 3 words for football?
Yeah.
Bloody hell. I don't think I can get past 3. You put me on spot there.
Fantastic dressing room.
Yeah. But never. I always say to everybody who I come across at elite level, every level, why'd you play football and why'd you love it when you was a young kid? No matter what you earn, don't ever forget that. It's why we love it. It creates memories. It creates bonds for life. It creates friends. It creates some of the best things in the world. But never forget why you first started playing. That's
Never forget why, John.
Yeah, that's it. Thank you, pal. Never. It's just don't. Whatever you earn, brilliant. Somebody's paying you, even if you have to pay subs. Brilliant. You love it. You're doing it because you love it. Don't ever forget that. And people, unfortunately, after a certain time, do forget that, and they get above the stations, and you think, listen, you're not for me. But never forget it. If it's like tomorrow, training, it's brilliant. You're on the grass. It's the best thing in the world. Luckily for us, yeah, we do get paid for it. And one of the, again, I look back and the funny things, I remembered it today. And when Ryan says what we're going to talk about, we played Rushden and Diamonds in the FA Cup second round. When Rushden, with the Doc Martins owner, new training ground, they were flying, new pitch, everything, new stadium. And the lad who was marking, he just turned around to me and went, "Are you captain of your Sunday team?" And I just laughed because I didn't. And it's just things like that. And then you'd get another comment saying, "Wonder where your lass is." We've all had it. It used to be Brill. She's over there. Look, the good-looking one, some every now and then, but. You get people who then hear things, and again, Charlie Bishop, another great lad, space cadet, he overheard these comments, and he come out with a brilliant, I'll never forget it, when, you know when you're stopping overnight and you're leaving your missus or your bird, does she wash up bedding? Because when it's fresh the next night and you think, oh, this is nice what she's done, I wonder why she's washed bedding. And it kills people. And it's just bits like that who you don't forget. It's like that when you're playing and you hear comments and you think, I can't answer back. It's great. And you just think, good. But you never say anything disrespectful. We all lose his temper and lose his bits and bobs when we're playing. And sometimes you think, I wish I hadn't said that. But it's when it gets personal about your mum and dad where I think, no. Forget that. No, nothing like that. You can say anything about me, whoever, but not about parents and kids. No chance.
And that's the problem with social media nowadays. People set up profiles just to attack people, and it's
100%,
a tragedy, really. Just be nice. If you can't say anything nice, don't fucking bother.
But like we say, Ryan, many years ago,
we're all human.
Yeah, many years ago when we were going out, the phones were just about. They were coming in and everything, but you still got away with bits and bobs. But now everything's done. Everything's videoed. You can't get away from it. Jesus, listen, social media is great. It's great, but it has a detrimental effect on certain things. And you see some comments and you think, why have you put that? But, and again,
3 words, just be nice.
100%, pal. 100%.
Everybody's fighting their own battles. Everybody's, You don't know what's going off in people's life. I've just been watching Point Break. That's fucking bank robbers. Is it Point Break, the tennis one? And you see what they go through and the stuff that gets said about them and stuff. And the human beings, man.
Mm.
It's not nice. It's really not. And you got this situation with Lewis Capaldi at the minute. God bless him. And I think that was lovely. People coming together to support somebody that's really struggling at the minute. Who's a genius. Who's an unbelievable person and hilarious. But he's struggling. And sometimes I think I love my country. Sometimes when it's like that. Just like I said, just be nice. It costs nothing. It costs nothing.
Been brought up in the way, treat people I expected to be treated, Ryan. That's it, my dad. That's it. So Keith Alexander, same as Keith. You come across people, small circles, shake their hands, be polite. That's it. Doesn't cost a thing. Move on.
No.
Don't let the worst word.
I need to remember that with referees.
No, listen. The worst word in the world, the CUNT. Listen, if somebody, like I've always said, I'd rather somebody call it me than I know where I stand with them. Then they say to the next person, he's all right, Naps. And if you think I'm a CUNT, tell me. We've all been in dressing rooms where occasionally you don't speak to somebody because you just don't get on. But that's it. That's life. You move on.
Draw a line under it. Yeah.
Yeah, but you're playing with him. Is your teammate. You've got nothing in common with him outside of it, but that's life. But tell me I'm a CUNT, then get on. Yeah. It's great.
I'll call you on Twitter in a bit.
That's fine, pal. That is fine, because I know you don't mean it. You think it's there's no other worse word than that one, so you can't think on it.
Oh, can't think of a worse one.
It's a horrible word. From David Lloyd.
Right. Well, like I say, you can just see like the friendship what you two have. So I'm sure it's gonna benefit you throughout the season, and I wish you best of luck again. I hope Retford do well, and hopefully we're here next season and we're talking about another promotion.
That'd be fantastic.
John, I'm holding your phone, Michael J. Fox. What's happening with it? Are you on your phone?
No, I've got rickets. And I'm dying for toilet.
Is there something you need to fucking tell me?
No, I think I've tiddled in my pants. I'm dying for toilet.
You been bored picking fucking teeth. Boys, it's always a pleasure to speak to you both. You know that, and obviously it's nice for John to come on and tell you some stories of his illustrious career on and off the pitch. But no, it's a pleasure to do these things, boys. You know where we are, and you're always welcome at our football club anytime. You know that, Jake. You know that, Ben. Anytime you want, we'll get red carpet out and rose bearers.
And we'll be looking out for the fixtures when they get announced as well. Yeah. And just a heads up for you, Ryan, mate. I'm also doing a YouTube channel myself next season, so I'll have to make sure that Cannon's Park gets a nice feature.
No problem.
Brilliant.
You can see me anytime, mate. Unless I've lost, just not then. Walk in if we've won.
Great stuff. But
thank you, boys.
This has been the FANA Fan Podcast. Thank you to you both, and we will see you next time. Ta-da.
Thank you. Thank you. Take care.
Cheers, lads. Football is life.